Welcome to the Cult Film Showdown's Octagon Inappropriate series. Each of the three of us brought films that we wanted to talk about with our pals and explore a bit deeper and put on what we call the Boogaloo lens. I am James Cotta. I am joined by Nick Boxer.
Take off, eh?
And
oh, here's one we should have put in. I know we've all seen it a million times. But Strange Brew?
Strange Brew, classic, yeah. Now, Jack Hall was talking about Strange Brew, but you're also the one that brought us Sudden Death. That's our film today.
Sudden Death should be a cult film classic, in my opinion, because of the craziness of this film that is consistently on. The only thing that keeps this from being a Scott Speedman film, like or Jeff Speedman or whatever that guy or Don the Dragon Wilson film, is the fact that it's a $35 million budget and drew $64 million at the box office and had a fairly big name director in Peter Hyams. He did Capricorn 1, 2010, The Space Odyssey, Running Scared with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal, The Relic, End of Days, Time Cop. So, I mean, it has but the only thing that's keeping it from being like a Don the Dragon Wilson movie is just that $35 million budget and the name director, and I guess the name actor, though. I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme is a cult movie, B-movie superstar more than anything else. And this is finally the second film we've done with him in our first season way back when, before we did 100 movies that entered the Octagon to see what is the ultimate B movie. One of the movies we did, of course, was Bloodsport. And we really should have some more movies with him because he is, he's cult film gold.
And honestly, I don't know that I ever saw this. It may be because it's a little late in the kind of VHS action era. Really, you think of the 80s as being that time. This is 95. So it just feels like maybe it's that it's just like a shade too late to be in the great works of the
I saw this
the Kung Fu era. Nice.
You are awesome. One of the few.
Did you pay the $65 million?
Put it over the top. I think it was a matinee, so it was $4.50. $4.50 of that is mine.
Nice, very impressive. Very impressive.
Now, Nick, without referencing Die Hard, tell us what happens in this film.
Yeah, it sort of blew my plan.
Don't miss a thing. Don't miss a thing.
Well, the Van Damme plays, I want to say disgraced fire investigator, but he's not really disgraced. He's just suffering from some PTSD. And he takes a job at a hockey rink, just providing fire safety. He takes his kids to a hockey game, the Stanley Cup finals. Coincidentally, the president or vice president, I'm never sure they refer to it's the president, is attending the game.
It's the vice president.
And terrorists decide to take over the stadium and hold the president hostage,
vice president,
for insane amounts of money. And Van Damme, you know what? He stops the bad guys by finding all the bombs and somehow blowing up a helicopter. And the kids are good. Didn't miss a thing.
Maybe one or two things, but hey.
Well, I could mention that he has to play goalie for a little while in this movie for some reason.
Oh my good God, that's the craziest.
And there's a scene with the world's most awkward cameos of all time.
Oh,
But hockey players who can't act.
oh, where do we want to start with this one? I'm gonna say from the outset.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I'm gonna say from the outset, Jack. Thank you.
I know.
As we have,
I remember seeing this a few years back, and when I was looking at films, I was thinking of films that like were perfect that wouldn't fit in the Octagon, but if they were just would score so well if they just didn't have that high budget. This was. I kept on going back to, and I'm sure we'll get to it, to the. I think the movie's an hour and 45 minutes, so this fight scene probably lasted an hour and 25 minutes. That occurs between Icy and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
And Icy is
and the mascot, the mascot character in the movie for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Should we just lead with that one?
yeah.
Oh, he fights. It's shown to us early in the film that the woman who plays Icy is indeed a woman, and one of the henchmen of these people that extorting the government for all this money is an actress named Faith Minton, who is known for being 6'1" and generally playing like a bodyguard or just like I first time I saw this film, which was many years ago, I thought the character was a cross-dresser or transgender. It's just not. She just happens to be a really big woman. But this woman fights Jean-Claude Van Damme inside a mascot's outfit, doing karate back and forth with each other forever. And then her death is after she gets her head knocked
the
off.
dishwasher is the toughest character in the movie.
This is unbelievable. A commercial dishwashing machine. She gets stuck on the conveyor belt, goes through it, and is apparently boiled to death by the hot water.
I could see that happen.
This scene alone, that happened in this film.
The everything leading up to it, I'm gonna, I will say is just hilarious. But I wonder, those things probably run at 100 degrees C, or like, what's that, like 7,000 Fahrenheit? I'm bad at these transitions. But yeah, I don't know if it would kill you, but it's not going to be a great day.
No, it's not going to be a great day, but kill you?
No, I've worked with those
commercial.
Those dishwashers, and the engines or the conveyor belt is not strong enough for a heavy plate rack of dishes, never mind a full human being.
In a mascot outfit. A little bulky. Just a little bulky.
The
bulky, but the fight.
The mascot has
goes on forever.
The mascot has a full like mascot head, and the number of times that Jean-Claude Van Damme punches the mascot head, like the giant foam head. I don't know what you're missing about who you're fighting, but I don't think that this is the soft spot you think it is.
He punches it and then seems shocked that it's not hurting her. It's a foam head. Just a little bit of cushion there. Oh. If it only had this scene, it would be worth it by itself. But there's so much more. There's so much more.
There is so much more. Powers Booth is incredible in this film. Again, I knew nothing going into this film. So when he turns up in full Powers Boothiness, he's a great villain, like over the top villain on a regular day, but some of the stuff he does in this film, just chewing it up. And near the end, he's trying to escape in the crowds, and he puts on a disguise. It's like Powers Booth with like a red blonde wig and like a mustache. It just, I was like, I was falling off the couch. It just killed me. It was so
It's like he's
amazing.
trying to be Tom Selleck. Oh, that outfit is great. Nick, what's your favorite Powers Booth moment in this movie?
I think when he's trying to decide who to kill second. Where he's just sort of playing eeny, meeny, miny, mo with his hostages. Because I think he had just shot the mayor's wife. And he's debating whether to kill the lady or the mayor next. He's just chewing the. Oh no, sorry, I forgot about the greatest movie in this film, the lighter fake detonator. Powers Booth has a cigarette lighter made and brought with him to mimic the bomb detonator. It has flashing lights. It's gorgeous. And then he has this great fake out moment where he presses the button and you think, or the hostages think the bombs are going to explode, and a little flame comes out the top and lights a cigarette.
That's a great moment.
Get one of those. Did he have the forethought? Like, he had to have the forethought to have one made or something. That moment. He's been looking for this so much that he made props and brought them with him.
Yeah, walk it through. So he had this idea. Like, well, I got this like this $1.2 billion heist to pull off, and I'm gonna take over this place during what is surprisingly low security during the Stanley Cup 7th game, and he's like, well, I think it'd be cool if at some point I did this thing with the lighter. I'll go. Do you make that or do you buy it? Like, it feels like an AliExpress, but you want to be careful. Like, you don't know when it's going to arrive. And then, he carries this with him through the entire operation for a sight gag. Like, maybe we needed I think we needed a couple of reaction shots of his buddies of like, oh, I've been waiting for him to do this. Like, who's he doing this joke for? Like, there's a lot of build up to do the joke for himself.
I can think of 3 more great Powers Booth moments. Number 1 is his death, because they've made it so that the Pittsburgh hockey arena has a retractable roof, because that was a thing in 1995 that a hockey arena had. Hockey arenas to this day don't have retractable roofs. Why? Because it's hockey. It's hockey. If it's cold enough outside to play, you're going to want that thing closed. If it's too warm, you're going to want that thing closed.
Didn't they also play hockey in the Toronto Stadium?
I don't know where it was.
That had a retractable roof? These things
I just know they had a retractable roof in this thing for no reason. And as he's dying, because he's in this helicopter, and the helicopter is like exploding and it's falling, and it cuts to him, and he's like, oh, slowly cuts back to the helicopter falling, cuts to him, slowly back to, does it like 4 times. I love that. That was amazing. Then there's the moment that he has the conversation with Jean-Claude Van Damme about why he's not going to hurt the little girl, because they steal Van Damme's little girl, get his daughter. And when Jean-Claude Van Damme explains, this is the game between you and me, And this is why you're not going to do it, because you won't get your money, because you'll have to kill me in front of everybody. I'm like, what makes you think he would have a problem? Like, he's going around killing people left and right. I never understood that. But I like the moment that he is sitting there and he kills one of the Secret Service agents, shoots him for no, just to make a point that you're in trouble. I will kill any of you at any point. Mm-hmm. Then as he's walking away from shooting the guy, as he passes another guy without even looking at him, he just shoots the guy in the leg. No reason. No reason, just the guy lets out a scream. Then he walks over to the chef that helped them, and he shoots the chef. And he goes, well, I did him a favor. We just shot his wife at home, so, he'd be lonely. Then cuts to the vice president, very seriously, who says, that guard or that Secret Service agent you just shot has a 5-year-old son, a 3-year-old daughter, and his wife is pregnant. Powers Booth goes, well, send her a card. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So good. So good. Oh.
I mean, there's a lot about all the plans in this movie that don't make a lot of sense.
Oh, no. None of it.
I mean, just getting past the chef that seems to be providing most of the security in this outfit. They kidnap his wife and tell him, like, we're going to kill her if you don't. But they don't have a way to communicate with their guy at the house with the wife. Well, that makes no sense.
He knows to the second when things happening, though. So presumably they are just like they are that time work. They are just tick tick tick. I bet you Powers Booth put into the schedule to go shopping for that lighter. They're planned.
The Secret Service agent who seems to be running the defense against the bad terrorist dudes. At one point in this movie, he just walks in the building for no apparent reason so he can have a conversation with Van Damme. I thought they were locked out and the building was cordoned off. But next thing I know, he's in there too.
People were coming and going from this stadium the whole time.
Then why didn't Van Damme just tell his kid to leave?
No. Because they have a moment where, like, his daughter runs away, so, like, and gets kidnapped. So he says to his son at the game, because he's father of the year, I have tickets to go see the hockey game with you. Now I'm going to go to work and leave you alone to watch the game. The two of you. I'm going to completely ignore you for the next 3 hours. But so he comes back and he says to his son, no matter what happens, do not leave this seat. So his son doesn't. So the whole buildup is so we can have this moment at the end where he comes back with the daughter and he's got the son, and his son goes, Dad, I'm still here. I'm still in the seat. Despite all the explosions and everybody running out, I stayed in my seat. And it's supposed to be this big emotional moment. You could just picture them writing it going, this is going to pull the heartstrings right here. This is gold. This is gold. It's unbelievable.
Oh my God, the son just killed me the whole movie. Because he's a jerk to his sister. He's mad at his dad for existing, and then I kept waiting for, like, the payoff of the character that never comes. There's one point where just Nick mentions the guy getting in. I mean, it does tell you not long after that the agent that snuck in, and he had said, I think one person could get in, was, like, working with the bad guys. So I don't think it was that. Probably wasn't that hard for him to get in when the bad guys knew he was coming. They just, propped open the door on the loading dock or something. But he feels he talks to Powers Booth and he's like, I've got an angle. I know how to shut this guy down. I know how to get leverage. I know where his son is sitting. So he goes and finds the sun, and the sun won't move, and there's that whole thing of like he's not going to move no matter what. And I'm like, but as I'm watching it, I'm like, are you trying to get leverage by getting his son when you already have his daughter?
Have his daughter.
What's the extra leverage that you think's going to happen here when you already have his daughter and have fed her the entire film? It's just incredible. There's some leverage.
I got like 5 more things to talk about easily. Like,
I love that boy's never important in any way. He never does a single thing that matters in the whole film.
So
I was waiting at the end for the Powers Booth gets his hands on him for like a standoff thing. I'm like, I hate when there's when a character exists just for like kids are often like this in a film where they exist only to be put in jeopardy later. And then it doesn't happen. Like I'm like, well, I mean, you didn't fall into that pitfall, but you didn't do anything with them that mattered.
The other big scene for the kid is probably when Van Damme picks up the kid and because it's his birthday and has tickets to the hockey game. The kid is like, still thinks his dad sucks, but really wants to go to the hockey game. And the daughter comes out. He's like, I got a ticket for you too. And she comes out and she does this sign language thing saying, I love you in sign language. Because she's probably like 6.
Yeah.
Learning sign language. The kid's, I don't know, 10 or 11, something like that. So when he becomes the hockey player, and I'm still not sure why or how he became the goalie, because the goalie that is in the game in this hockey game is sick. He's got a flu or something. So he leaves the bench. So he comes back out dressed as the goalie. He gets on the bench. The coach looks at him, literally says, "You're feeling better?" And he nods yes, because he looks nothing like he's like 3-4 inches shorter, nowhere near as thick. Like he doesn't look anything like him. But they mistake him for him. The coach goes, "You feeling better?" And he goes, "Yeah." And the coach goes, "Then get the fuck in there." And he goes on the ice and makes this great save. Of course, right? Game save of the year.
Save of the year. They make such a point of that. It's the save of the year.
Save of the year.
It looked like. I don't know a lot about hockey. It looked like a save, is what it looked like.
It was pretty much just a save. But they're saying save. These are not great announcers. Earlier in the game, the one announcer goes, the lead announcer goes, "It's so loud in here, I can't hear myself think." And the other announcer, the color commentator, goes, "It's hockey. You don't have to think." So really,
those are real announcers. Those were the real Pittsburgh announcers.
You're kidding me.
Nope, not at all.
Burying the whole sport. But so he goes out there, makes this unbelievable save. Then in the middle of the action, the game is still going on. It's not a whistle or anything. The game is still going on. He takes off his glove and his both his gloves, and he makes the sign language pointing at his son. "I love you." And his son goes, "That's actually my dad." Then he walks over to some guy on the other team. The action's still going on, completely leaving the net wide open, and just punches him, and then skates off. Like
we gets thrown out of the game for that. And I'm like,
it's hockey.
Well, the whole idea of him like, yeah, he would have gone to the penalty box. But actually, the whole thing of him making the save is that, like they don't want you thinking like, well, he's, there is that, like, from that point on, there's this discomfort of like, he's messing with the game too. Like it's like, I mean, I know serious stuff's going on, but I thought they were still going to have the game.
Well, why did he need to get on the bench anyway?
He didn't.
He didn't.
So the order of events is he's being chased. He gets chased into the locker room, and like one of the doors is locked. So he's not being chased with any kind of speed. because he has an enormous amount of time. He sees that, as you mentioned, there's the there's the goalie who is sitting in the back. He's got an oxygen mask on because he's got the flu. He's really pushing himself to be out here at all. Now Van Damme has no choice but to go with the plan he has, because he's like get so close to getting caught. So he takes all of the uniform and clothing off of the goalie, and then puts it on himself, and then goes out on the ice before that guy catches up to him.
So there wasn't a bomb for him to spot hidden in the skylighters?
No.
Because I could not figure out literally why he needed to.
There was.
That's the entire.
But yeah, you're right. Putting on pads alone, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Oh, unbelievable. And let's keep in mind, though, that this movie's logic is so strong. It's so great. Oh, when you're talking about logic, there's 10 bombs hidden throughout the stadium, the hockey arena. Massive arena, right? Holds 20,000 people, whatever. Massive arena. And the two characters are talking. And he's finding the bombs. The other character goes, what's he doing? Guessing? He goes, yeah, but he's a good guesser. I think.
Well, I mean, they do explain that he was a fireman and now works as a fire inspector, so he knows structural integrity of massive buildings for some reason.
Please. They said the words. He's a good guesser.
He analyzes this and he says, like, these are, like, if I wanted to blow up this building, this is where I would put the bombs. And I'm like, I don't know how you know how to. There's no explanation of how you know how to deactivate them. There's no explanation of why you know enough about structural mechanics to know where those points would be. That's not how buildings that catch fire fall down. There's no explanation of why a fireman has martial arts skills.
No. But those martial arts skills are only equal to the woman that he fights in the mascot outfit.
They do hold.
It's pretty even fight.
They do hold it back from what he normally would do. Yeah, like he's like, they kind of leave him as like he's a good fighter. He does a lot of kicks. But yeah, they don't make him like a Superman like he usually is in this kind of film.
Well, let's talk about the other great fight scene.
Before we get there, I just want to say, I think this is sort of my problem with the film, is that it's the least Van Damme. He's the least Van Damme as any Van Damme movie is. I mean, he doesn't do the splits in this movie. There's no like mad face going on. No slow motion. Well, once again, kicks. He might as well be Jeff Speakman in this movie. I don't think there's.
That's kind of my point.
It's just an action film, and I want Van Damme if Van Damme's there. He's so awesome at what he does.
I want to talk about the other great fight scene in this, and the other great kill, besides the death in a dishwasher. And that is when he fights this other guy. Like, this is going to be a great movie because there's this guy and he kidnaps two people, and they kidnap the what is it, I can't remember. Is it like the vice president right away early in the film? Is that when they're in? Yeah, they right away.
They take out two guys that are like security for that are working on like security for the building or something. Yeah, so they can
pose the security. And the guy says to him, "Get in the van and don't say a word. This isn't worth dying over." And then immediately turns around and shoots them for no reason, just to show he's a bad guy. So the same guy gets into a fight with Van Damme again in the kitchen, and another long fight. Van Damme takes him and has him down for a second, and he goes, "What are you, a terrorist?" And the guy gets all offended and goes, "I'm no terrorist. I'm a professional." And then they continue to fight. And eventually he has Van Damme from behind and is trying to choke him. And Van Damme's holding him off with one arm. And he reaches, and there's this giant bone from like it's a huge bone from like a piece of beef or something. And he whacks it on the edge of the table. It shatters. And then he sticks the bone into the guy's neck. And the guy dies by shattered bone via neck. One of the great deaths ever.
You're actually missing the greatest thing from that scene, though, is that, keeping in mind this is a different scene than when he beat up the penguin, he also uses the dishwasher to break that guy's hand.
That's true.
The dishwasher beats up more guys in this movie than Van Damme.
That's, when they were
weight
making
machine to take somebody out later.
That's true. Yeah, you know that when they were making Borderline Identity, they're like, about sudden death, where he just used everything in a kitchen. What if we did that, but he didn't just stay in the kitchen? What if he did like went other places and did? The kitchen is so integral to the plot. It's quite amazing.
It really is.
The whole plan revolves around the kitchen.
I feel like there's another great Powers Booth moment we're missing. There's so many. This film is so unbelievable. Oh, I can't think of any more though.
Powers Booth is.
I'm exhausted.
He sneaks in as one of the caterers.
Oh yeah.
That helicopter crash, the helicopter ending though, I was crying, literally crying from laughter. I just could not stop that whole scene. Because Van Damme shoots the pilot, and the pilot pulls back on the stick when he dies, and the helicopter goes completely vertical. And
could not fall straighter.
Yeah, like it was on rails.
And they don't even pretend to have rotors still on that helicopter as it falls.
And yet it fell so slowly. So they had time for Powers Booth to scream.
Yeah, despite it having absolutely no lift left, because that's how helicopters work. It really does fall quite slowly.
I got sort of tangled in like the chords from the, I don't know what, the Jumbotron or whatever.
No, I don't think so.
Just mind trying to make sense of how slowly that helicopter fell.
Well, yeah, but it has to get inside the arena before it could have been connecting with that stuff. And it starts falling like above the arena. I will say, I'll jump in here that I quickly looked it up. The Pittsburgh Igloo, it was called the Igloo, was replaced about 15 years ago. It had a retractable roof. It was the first sports arena in the world to have a retractable roof. And
that's probably the whole reason they picked that arena, that city.
This would have been the last time it was used. They retired it in 1994 because it was just so hard to maintain and just a pain in the ass, which most arenas that have had retractable roofs found out over the years. They're giant pain in the ass.
Well, again, retractable, if it's too cold out, you don't open the roof because it'd be freezing. If it's too warm out, you don't open the roof because the ice would melt. Yet there's no reason for a hockey arena.
Well, I mean, it's
a retractable roof.
I mean, they would do other things in that arena. I mean, they would have like music events and who knows what else in that arena.
In Pittsburgh? Come on now.
Well, I mean, man, I wish there was like a rock star that just popped into my head that was from Pittsburgh, but I got nothing. I got nothing.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so they had a retractable roof.
They did. This would have been this probably would have been the last time it was used.
I like that the hockey game ended 4-4, so neither team had to lose. Both teams are probably sitting there negotiating, going on. We're not losing because they used a lot of real player names and stuff. Oh, we did not talk enough about the greatest cameo of all time.
Oh, you go for it. You go for it.
I don't even know where to. Nick, do you want this one?
No, go ahead. Try to explain it to me because that entire scene was like, everyone in this scene is so bad, I could not tell who was an actor, who wasn't.
somebody. I mean, they got a few real players, and then they had some fake players. Like the goaltender Tolliver, that was a fake player. But they had some real players, and they were using real player names during the movie and stuff like that. The announcers were. One of the real players is Luc Robitaille, who was a high scoring left winger, and I don't know how to explain how poor his acting is. Like no words can explain that this person. And then they had him say a line in French when because they're talking French because Jean-Claude Van Damme's character is a French Canadian who just happened to once play hockey when he in the minors or something like that, and he goes to Luc Robitaille and says in French, he says, "How are you going to do tonight?" Luc Robitaille goes, "Oh, we're going to fuck them up," and even in French, not knowing the language, I go, "This is the worst acting I've ever seen in my life." It's just so bad. It's so good.
Can't convince him.
You see what I mean, right? That this film somehow has escaped the cult film so bad it's good. I don't know how. Maybe it's because you nailed it when you said it's because in 1995 we were switching to DVD and the height of the action films on VHS is kind of dead and such. Maybe it just somehow missed people's radar. But this film is not in the so bad it's so good category that a film like Jaws 4 is, and I think that's a damn shame.
Yeah, it's I mean it was pre-DVD, but really blockbuster era kind of solid, like solidly within the blockbuster era. So it also doesn't like it also there's no underground feel to it. I'm the one thing on budget that you mentioned, I was impressed with what they pulled off for 35 mil. Like they had a lot of they did get a lot of mileage out of their cashola.
Oh yeah.
Because that like the crashing the helicopter looks like it looks like a practical. Like it doesn't look like a miniature or anything. It looks like a practical.
I'm pretty sure it was a miniature, but a well done one. I think that's just my guess.
I seem to remember seeing a behind the scenes or something where they actually had the body of the helicopter hanging from the ceiling, preparing to detonate it.
Yeah, this was filmed during a hockey lockout that was happening. So there weren't games for quite a while. So that's why they kind of had the run of the place and could do some like big stuff.
I'm just on their Wikipedia page right now just to see if there's some notes on it. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I have gotten to the point where it says Luc Robitaille had attended acting classes with the person who produced it, producer Karen Baldwin, while playing for the Los Angeles Kings, and that's why he was chosen as Tyler's favorite player.
Oh my god!
He had acting class.
I only debate the accuracy of the Axon classes. He maybe had acting class.
Oh my god. And I love that those are the players they focus on when like Yarmer Yager was still on the Penguins at that point.
Oh, I know. He's still playing in Europe, I think. The final helicopter crash was filmed with a 400-foot crane that could pick up and lower the helicopter into the arena. 9 cameras recorded the event, which was filmed several times, and hundreds of emergency vehicles were on standby in case of an accident. Wow. That is something. That is commitment to your cause.
Yeah, that's impressive. We can't go without talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme's assault on the owner's box.
Oh my god. Oh, so good.
Nothing about the lead up to this makes any sense. And then the whole plan is like, that can't be what you wanted to happen. so Van Damme, he's going to make his shot at the owner's box, which is where Powers Booth has been holed up. There is only one way in, the locked elevator, and you can't get into the stairway because they locked it, which apparently just means that he has to take another. He can't get through a lock, so he comes up with another plan, only slightly harder than opening a lock. Uh, he gets up to the top of the dome. He opens the dome. He jumps. He like ropes off, like he does like a swinging from a light. Glad that light was strong enough to hold his weight. Again, another thing that a fireman definitely knows. The tensile strength of a lighting rig at a hockey arena. But he's made an improvised bomb that he takes with him in a jar. And he as he's swinging, he pitches that forward and it blows a hole just his size perfectly round in the top of the owner's box. And then he just swings right through that, pops right into it.
So tremendous.
Every part of that plan made no sense.
No sense. Well, I'd like to point out this was written by the same guy who wrote Coming At Ya and King Solomon's Mines and Alan Quartermain and Lost City of Gold. And so, I mean,
well, I did read there's almost nothing of his script left, though. That it was supposed to be a full-on comedy, and this is where it ended up. It's impressive that they took apart a comedy and then added different comedy in then. Because the stuff, like, it feels like a send up. Like, it doesn't feel like you had to go that far to make it a send up of its own genre. But I think it's one of those things of, like, you put Jean-Claude Van Damme in it, you couldn't make a comedy like that at the time. I mean, he didn't have enough sense of humor.
4K release.
He didn't have enough sense of humor about himself to do like the first Expendables movie. So certainly didn't at that point. 95, he definitely didn't have that kind of sense of humor.
Oh no, not at all. Yeah, this is to me among the most entertaining Van Damme films out there, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Can you believe we made it this far and never brought up how we brought down that helicopter? I mean, he jumped from a roof onto a rope ladder suspended from a helicopter, and then shoots both the pilot and co-pilot through the body of the helicopter, and then is able to jump off the helicopter before it crashes.
Yeah, and takes a bullet on his way that was intended for his son or something like that, or daughter or whatever.
Well, he's going to. But then the guy's gun is empty.
So, yeah, that's true.
And it's hard to tell whether Powers Booth knew that. He smiles like he did, but I feel like he didn't. He uses that opportunity to escape because Van Damme's like done a flying leap. He's got the PTSD from trying to save a kid in a fire at the beginning is from like several years before. That's the setup of Van Damme's character. And now he's a fire marshal, and they are so hard on him for having a friggin' job.
I know.
Everybody's hard on him because, I mean, even when we thought the Secret Service agents were on the good side, they still just started to scream, but he's a head case, so we can't count on him.
Yeah, like, where's that in his file? Like, why would that be in his file? Oh yeah, this guy's a head case. no reason for that. I mean, he almost died in a collapsed building and trying to save a kid who didn't make it. I mean, walk it off. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
the 90s.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh,
Not
so
even
good.
not even a montage of how he uses martial arts to help him in his recovery. No explanation.
Oh my God! That would make movie make so much more sense, and it would be so easy just have him doing Tai Chi in the park or something.
They don't even drop he used to be like he was in the military or anything like that. Like that's what you do in all of these kinds of films is you just like you know he was a special forces guy and now he's a chef under siege. Uh, like you just drop one of those things in with like a vaguely defined like he was a Navy SEAL, he was special forces. You don't need any other explanation. But they offer no explanation, which
None.
is even easier, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think this is
Oh, I loved it.
if this was in the Octagon, I would have expected it to score very well, except it would have lost more heart than budget.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
would have lost in that category, and that's a shame. But it would have like WTF moments
Yeah.
and things like that, memorable moments and all of that. It would have scored. Well, I guess its concept isn't very good. Crazy concept. Die Hard in an arena.
I think it's
I mean,
pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy, actually.
I think
think
Die
about
Hard in a hockey arena. The person who's in the like the official it's the most jeopardy is the vice president. Um, that it's like and that it's so much Die Hard. Like it feels like we should have like it's 95. I feel like they had run out the Die Hard in a genre, and yet here it is.
Here it is. That's a good question. List of movies that rip off Die Hard.
Oh God, so many.
What
It's so many.
is the height? What is the height? Under Siege. That's
Under Siege,
that's one.
Under Siege, because it was going to be a Die Hard movie, right? Like it was originally written as a Die Hard.
That's true. It was originally, yeah.
So I think that's like I think that's your brand name, your
The
top.
Rock, 1996.
Yeah,
Under Siege, 1992. I don't know if I'd go with The Rock.
I wouldn't go with The Rock. No, I don't think.
Speed though. Speed is 1994.
Speed, yeah. But I mean, I think
Passenger 57, 1992. Cliffhanger, 1993. Not so much Cliffhanger, I don't think.
No, I don't say Cliffhanger either. Like I think you need to like have that enclosed part. Like it needs to be in a box. Like even Vengeance was like it wasn't like in as much of a box as the first two films, but it was certainly like the island of Manhattan was your box.
Yeah, that's right. Executive decision to a degree.
Yeah, I can see a few.
Air Force One for sure.
Yeah, Air Force
One was 97.
Oh yeah. I mean, anything on a plane is hilarious because, like, Bruce Willis gets lost in a 40-story building. I'm hiding out in a airplane.
Plane.
Because there's tons and tons of places that you can hang out in a plane. They'll never find you.
Yeah, very interesting.
You just put on Power's boots disguise, and they'll never find you.
Passenger 57. I feel like I should watch that to see if that would score.
I think it's Passenger 57 though. Oh, maybe that's the executive action or whatever it's called that has it's the first time I ever saw a knife fight in an elevator. And there's a reason why it took a long time to see one again. Remember, it's Wesley Snipes.
All right, guys.
Fun. All right, that was sudden death, and that was hilarity. So much fun. Just goes so far over the top, off the rails. Wonderful film.
Go watch it. If you haven't seen it in a long time, go find it. Go watch it, and watch it with those Boogaloo lens.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a great one for the Boogaloo lens to bring that idea of a B movie to these flicks. And we've got the next in our series is In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale. Possibly the longest name we've ever had on the show. 2007.
No, there's that.
And
You did that one with something in the undead zone or whatever, and what was that one with that super long name?
That's true. There was another one with anytime once you get a colon in there, you're in for a long ride. So much like Catwoman, this is a film that is in the bottom 100 on IMDb, and sits at a 3.8, which is slightly above Catwoman. So we'll be doing that one next time. So we are the Cult Film Showdown. You can find us on Patreon, on Instagram, and on YouTube, and your favorite podcast apps under the Cult Film Showdown. And we are sponsored by WeTalkPodcast.com, the home of the Octagon. We Talk Podcasts has a Facebook, and they have a X. And we will talk to you next time. In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale.
That's the U-Ball, right?
Yui Ball, yeah. Is it U-Ball or Yui? I guess we have until next time to find that out. I guess Sudden Death is the most hockey I've watched in like 20 years. Probably aggregate. Like there's a lot of hockey in that movie.
That's funny.
I know it's a hockey game, but I don't think I needed this much hockey.